Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Right, well, that's just loading. I don't know, I make this mistake every time. I should use my phone because on here it doesn't tell me who's watching, which is a massive ball ache. Sort it out, Facebook. Um, but yeah, I hope you're good. I haven't been live in this group in literally about 3 weeks. It feels like forever. So I do apologise for not being present. Oh, hey Marky, hey Room. Ooh, people. Yes, I do apologise for not being present this last while. Things have been crazy. As you guys know, I had my challenge, and then after that, I think I was just so overwhelmed with everything. I just went on anti and I just needed to take a step back and focus on myself and my time a bit more. But yeah, I'm kind of over that now, and I'm very excited to say I've just hired my first assistant who I'll be introducing to the group shortly because she's going to be helping me out with a lot of admin bits that I needed help with. Yeah, so all exciting stuff. Today I'm talking about retargeting. I think I called the event remarketing. I never know the difference between the two, I forget. But yeah, retargeting is basically it means reaching out to a warm audience. That's literally all it is. It's contacting. Yay! Yeah, I literally just got off the. I just had an interview with her a minute ago, which was lovely. She was really shy, bless her. But yeah, hopefully you should all be good. My first ever proper workout. I've hired one other person before, and he was lazy, and it put me off hiring a man. I did look at the men. I wasn't just evil with my choice, but none of them come close. I think one man made it to the top 10 out of all of them. So yeah, girl power. So yes, remarketing. So what is remarketing? It is simply reaching out to a warm audience. That's literally all it is. When people have already seen you before, and then you reach back out to that same person, and when you're not basically you're not cold anymore. It's warm by that point. So a couple of fun facts for you. So, first of all, 2%, only 2% of people on average convert on a website visit the first time. So literally all of that traffic, I think every 100 people who look at your product or service, only 2 of them are going to convert. So what retargeting is the people who have looked and they haven't converted, they haven't purchased your product or service. You just give them a gentle reminder, maybe a day later, maybe a week later, maybe a month later. But that next time when they see you, they already know you exist, and so then what you're doing is you're like forming a stronger bond with them, and depending on how you do it will depend on the sort of the outcome you get from it. But it's highly recommended. It is the most effective form of marketing by far. If I showed you some Facebook accounts where I just do remarketing and nothing else, because we use Google for the clicks, the conversion rates are ridiculous. So like with a Facebook ads budget of like 100 quid, I can get the same number of thousands of sales that we're getting on Google with 600 quid, because Google's going for a cold audience, whereas Facebook's going for the warm audience who didn't convert on Google. So remarketing increases your conversion rates by 150%. That's a lot. These are all 2020 stats, by the way. I can send the source later if anyone wants it. This one interested me. 25% of consumers like behavioral targeting. So a lot of people don't like it. They think, yeah, Big Brother, why does Google know too much about me? Why does Facebook know too much about me? Why am I seeing this? I was talking about that earlier. Are they listening to me? You get loads of people putting their tinfoil hats on and that, like thinking they're being conspired against. But the fact is, most people actually enjoy it. I know I like it. If I've been shopping for something, if I've been looking for something and doing lots of research and I've not made a decision yet, and then later on I'll see an ad for exactly what I was looking for at a discounted price. I like that. It's why wouldn't anyone like that? I don't know. But yeah, 25% of people apparently do. So it is not, you can't even think of it like you're badgering people. Obviously, if you're showing the same ad over and over again to people and they're seeing it 30 times, then that's not good. You know, that's like watching TV, isn't it? When you've just seen that advert like way too many times. But as long as it's done properly, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Also, look, I'm very aware of this. My broken clothes. Oh, I'm such a mountain person, aren't I? And yeah, so the last fact that I wrote down was that the cost per click is on average about half the price of with retargeting ads compared to search ads. So it's a lot cheaper. So not only are your conversion rates higher, so you need to run less ads, but the actual clicks that you run are a lot cheaper as well. So on one PPC account, when we're running ads to a warm audience, it was something like, I don't know, I've seen results so ridiculous, something like 20 or 30 quid to get like £4,000 or £5,000 worth of sales, compared to 500 quid for like the same amount. It's crazy. So how do you do it? Basically, you just need to have, you have to have the audience. You need to have the audience saved. So there's three main ways that people do retargeting, and that's email, Facebook ads, and Google ads on the display network. You can actually do Google search retargeting as well, so that you actually show up to warn people in the search results. But I don't see it done that much, and I don't think it's the most effective. I think display remarketing is the best, because it's great for many things as well. It's great for like things like brand awareness at the same time, so people keep just seeing that vision of your brand. People often need to see your brand about 7 times before they even remember you, let alone make an action, take a step and do something. So the most common form of remarketing you would see will be like with e-commerce. So with like email retargeting, maybe you've gone on a website, you've added something to your cart, and then later on you get an email saying, oops, you've left this in your cart, did you mean to forget this, do you want to continue checking out? So that's like the most common way on email. The only thing about this is the people doing the shopping, they need to have actually signed into your website for this to work. So that's why often on a website, when you add something to cart, it will pop up and say, do you want to log in, so that it saves it for you. So obviously you log in because you think, yeah, I want it to remember that. But the real reason they're doing that is so that they can email you later and remind you to finish purchasing it. Because so often people get distracted at checkout, or they just want a second thought something, they want to do a little bit more research, and then before you know it, they've forgotten. So then a few hours later in the evening, when you're sort of hanging out watching TV, you've completely forgotten about it by then, and you suddenly get an email through on your phone, and it's like, oh, you forgot to purchase this. Oh yeah, bugger. Okay, purchase it now. So email's a really good way of doing it, but it's got that disadvantage that they do have to have your email address. So you need to have gone through GDPR compliancy if you're in Europe. But then the other two main ones are Google ads and Facebook ads. So these are done, I'm sure you've heard these words thrown around loads, pixels, cookies. So yeah, so the pixel is the code that gets stored on the website that tracks the things that people do on that website and sends those as actions to Facebook. You have to tell Facebook what the action is. You could technically, create an action and call it a conversion, but set it up as a lead, and it would work that way. So you can't just add a pixel and think Facebook's going to know that was add to cart, that was purchase, that was lead. You have to specifically tell it what that thing is. So you have to give it that label yourself. So just make sure that's set up properly. And so cookies are they're like the little bit of data that gets stored on the machine that remembers these things. It remembers the sites you've been on, remembers the actions you've taken. And basically, so this, what gets saved on the pixel, this goes to Facebook. So then if you have performed the action, if you've added something to your cart, if you've viewed a certain page, that will then save on the pixel, and then when someone creates an audience out of people who have performed that action, then those people will be the ones to see whatever campaign you create, whatever ads you run, whether it's on Facebook or Google. It's all done the same pretty much. So obviously when you search, when you're browsing in incognito mode, that doesn't happen. So when you're browsing in incognito, everything just stays on your laptop and no one gets any wind of it. Also on Facebook, if you don't want people to have that data about where you've been browsing online, you can actually go in your profile to security section at the bottom, and then go to the view, I think it's like view your data or something, and it gives you a list. It will show you a list of websites that Facebook knows about you, and you'll be surprised at how much they actually know about you. But you can delete it there and then if you want. But if you want to have like discounts thrown at you for when you're shopping and stuff, then I say leave it on. I've never felt the need to clear it, but some people do. But yeah, so the key with how to do it anyway is you need a custom audience. So you need a way of saving those people who come and take that action, so that you can use that. Now, don't get me wrong, you can't identify the people in that audience. You can't be like, oh, let's have a look in that audience. Oh yeah, we've got Jill, we've got Sharon. You know, it's completely private in that way. Just those people will see it. And that is also why when you create Facebook ads, you're not supposed to use language that implies you know something about someone. So using the word you, Facebook doesn't like it because it creeps people out a bit. And that's because obviously we kind of do know about the people. We don't know them specifically, but we know that they're in that audience. So yeah, so I just want to go over a few strategies that you can use when doing retargeting. Because there are a few different ways, and equally as effective as the last. And yeah, so first of all, I'm sure you've seen it, it's the one I've already talked about. It's where you've got your special offer or your flash sale. So you've looked at, it's usually done with e-commerce. It can be done with services as well, as long as you've got like service product pages on your website and you can track it that way. But yeah, generally it's done with e-commerce. So you're shopping, you're looking at shoes, you didn't buy them, and then a week later shoes pop up, 50% off, time limited offer, and it's always got to be time limited, so it sort of gives that sense of urgency for people to go and buy it. That's like the most common one you see with e-commerce. And the other one that's like e-commerce is the abandoned cart one, so that's the one I already said about earlier as well. So someone puts something in their cart, they don't check out, then you go back at them, you remind them to do it, and then if, say, they still don't purchase a few days later or a week later, then that's when you reach out to them again with a special discount. So a one-time only coupon code, or just a link to one that links straight through to a discounted offer, or anything like that. It depends how you want to build it into your website, or how, you know, what sort of capabilities you've got of creating new pages or creating coupon codes. Yeah, that's just up to you to sort of work out, decide. So another one for retargeting, now this is more for services, and about 90% of you who watch this will be service based, so this is for you, is interviews and testimonials. Super effective retargeting. So obviously if someone's seen your cold ad, they've probably thought about it for a minute, they might have even interacted with it, and that's how they're even warmer audience, but they're just not ready to convert yet. So you reach back out to them with an ad that is simply either a testimonial, a video testimonial, someone singing your praises, how your product or service changed their life, or an interview, like a recorded interview that you've done on Zoom or whatever, with you asking them questions, you know, the questions that you want your target audience to know about, basically. Now, the beauty of doing it with testimonials, what I find personally is a lot of the time when I ask a client if they've got video testimonials, hey Chanel, how are you? A lot of the time, the problem I always find when I ask for a client for video testimonials is that on the video testimonial, there's about 3 minutes of like faffing about, like trying to get to the point. Whereas if you ask someone to do a video testimonial, what you should do is actually create a structure for them to follow. So like give them a list of questions and make the first question be about what were their doubts before they purchased your product or service. So before you signed up to this my group program or my coaching or whatever, what was your biggest doubt? What was your biggest fear? And then literally in the first 5 to 10 seconds of their video testimonial, they have they've like counteracted that objection that your target audience has. So within seconds, your target audience is like, oh, that's what I was worried about before, and they've just confirmed that's not true, or I've got no reason for that to be an objection anymore. So that's like a really, really good way of doing it. So obviously you have to tell them to read out the question first, and then answer it. And then there's other things you can do there. That's why interviews are easier. Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah. Plus, I think with interviews, if you know the business owner, then straight away while you're scrolling, you've got someone there that you recognise. Whereas if it's someone in testimonial, you might just be like, "Who's this on my newsfeed?" And you just keep scrolling. So yeah, interviews are really, really good way of doing it. I've not actually done that myself. I need to do that. I know I've seen you doing lots on Zooms. Yeah. So first question, you could like chop it up and mix like test it, couldn't you, to see which questions are the most effective. But definitely have like the pain points, the main objections, whatever first, so that within the first, even like 3 to 5 seconds before they carry on, you can, you answer the objection. So hook them in quickly, basically, with video. Always hook them in quickly as you can. So another one for service-based people, and it could work for e-commerce, but I think this is definitely better for service, is about you. What's your story and the why? So like, why are you doing what you do? Like, literally, basically. So especially if you've got a good offer that you've been offering people, maybe they're thinking, why is this person doing this? Like, what's the catch? And then when you explain, in fact, Parul, if you actually watch this, you would love this, because Parul Banker, if any of you know her or don't know her, she's actually got a 5-day challenge on right now, which is stand up and share your story, which is absolutely brilliant, because I know I don't even know my story. I've got a million stories and I don't even know why or what or anything. But having your own story is like absolutely so powerful to use as a tool for lead generation. And especially if you're doing it to a warm audience that's already seen your service, they're probably a bit interested, but they're just not sold on you because they don't know you from anyone else. Like, why are you special? And then so that story, like, is exactly what's going to make them then convert. Chanel, what about montage of different clients answering the same question? I was literally going to say that. I got distracted a minute ago. Yeah, so have just one person read the question. So, or just ask one of them to read it out, or just have a different person, and then just have all of their answers in a go. That's like a really, really good strategy for it. Especially if you've got longer videos. That would probably work better on a landing page, I would say. But yeah, you can just play around, can't you, and test it. But yeah, that's if you've got the time and patience or assistant to do that for you, then that is definitely the best idea. Right, so another one was so me or you versus them. So have your retargeting piece about focus solely on what separates you from the rest, because at the moment, obviously, you've seen how noisy, how crowdy, busy social media is. Even with ads, it's starting to be difficult to be heard above all the noise because there's so many people doing the same. So what is your USP? What makes you different from them? And just have your main feature about that, just so that they learn that you're not just the same as every other Tom, Dick and Harry that's doing what you do. And then if the thing that makes you different is their cup of tea, then the chances are they'll just sign up to you there and then. That's another really good strategy for it. So those are, oh yeah, there's one I've missed. And the other one, a few of you might have heard me mentioning this one before, but what you do is when you do your cold part of the sort of whole strategy, you use video ads. And what you do is in each, you do like maybe a few different video ads, but you focus each video on a different benefit or pain point, up to you, which depending on how, you know, how you've worked out your ICA or whatever. So say like one of their pain points is time. You've got one video that focuses on the time aspect of what you're offering. Then you've got another one that focuses on like the money, and then another one that focuses on like the freedom or something. And then, so when you do your retargeting, you know from their action on each video, you know what they're interested in. So then when you do your retargeting, you make that content specific to that video. So you're talking directly to them, and they know, like, they're sort of more on your level. Because if you did it with normal posts and not video, you wouldn't be able to target a specific post. You can only target videos that way. So if you did, say, 3 normal posts, so one was money, one was whatever I just said, time and freedom, when you do retargeting, you could not specifically retarget the right people with the right message unless you did it on video. But if you do it the right way, then you're just honing in on even more with the second piece of content, so surrounding the thing they specifically care about, whether it is money, time, freedom, or whatever. So yeah, that's like really, really great one, and not a lot of people do it. But the more specific you can be when you talk to your ICA, the better, really. As long as it's not obviously like too niche and there's only 3 of them in the world. As long as it's like a good enough sized audience or whatever, or a good enough assumption that enough of, you know, a big enough segment of your target audience are gonna have that common interest, then you should do it that way. So yeah, those are the main strategies I would put around retargeting. In general, I would say keep it within about 30 days for the hot stuff. Like, Facebook will always let you retarget 180 days, and sometimes in the earlier days, you do need to just go for 180 days, because then you've got a big enough audience. If you haven't got a big enough audience, then Facebook just won't let you run retargeting ads. You know, it just won't run. So sometimes you have to start older, but once you've got enough data, enough people, enough visitors, then keep it between about 15 to 30 days, and they're like the really hot ones, basically. And one other thing with time, so you could use any of these strategies in there, but this is like a strategy that I like to use, is when you create your audiences, what you do is you create an audience of people who have seen, e.g., have viewed a certain ad, or, you know, done whatever steps you wanted to make to get them in that audience. But first of all, you do 0 to 5 days, so they're like the really hot people, they're like the really hot audience. So you could like straight away go to them with just with the normal first retargeting, and then you've got a second audience for people who are like 5 to 10 days, so they're like a bit colder, they're not so hot, they saw your ad 5 to 10 days ago. So you could then do something different, like just try and interest them in like liking your page or something, or then you could actually like give them the cheaper offer, that kind of thing, and then just have a final audience of 10 to 15 days with your third thing that you want to do. And that way you've got them in your world, like stuck in your world for 15 days of them seeing you and giving them, and then obviously you're rotating the 3 different things, so they're not going to be like sick of you. It's not like retargeting someone the same thing for a month. They're just getting 5 days in short bursts of 3 different things, and then one way or another you're just going to get them into your world that way. Chanel, we need a strategy session for my 5-day challenge. I'm excited to record all new videos. Yes, we do. We need to catch up anyway. Chanel, I don't know if you saw, I hired my person today. I've got a new assistant. She's going to be starting literally like immediately, and I'm going to have so much more time for the important stuff, instead of spending ages doing things like scheduling stuff and adding emails to lists and doing all that kind of stuff that I'm happy to do, but it just takes absolutely forever. So everything's very, very exciting at the moment. I'm going to be a lot more present in this group as well, because I've kind of not been here for the last few weeks. Been neglecting my Facebook no bullshit tribe. But yeah, definitely have a session soon, Shan. 100%. And yeah, that was it. Those were my ideas with retargeting. So I'm hoping I haven't just completely confused the hell out of anyone who watches this. Do let me know if you're watching on replay, and do let me know if you've got any questions at all, or if you want anything else explaining a bit better or anything else. Yeah, and if not, then I'm gonna sign off for the evening. It's 6:30 here, so it's about bath time for my little one. So yeah, I'll just leave it another minute. Also, how's I wonder how the weather is in England where you guys are. It's really humid at the moment. It keeps going from rain to storm to just humid, and I don't mind it, but you just get loads of like insects, sticky, like it's all sticky, and get loads of little fly things everywhere. Okay, cool. Right, so I don't think anyone's got any more questions, so I'm gonna sign off for the night. So lots of love, people. I will be introducing my new team member officially in the next couple of days. Much love.